In this video, I want to show you how you can change just two things. Actually, they're wrapped in one that if you do this will completely explode your confidence, your certainty, and the way that people perceive you when you communicate. Now, this could be whether you're just one-on-one with clients. This could be when you're live in front of an audience. This could be live virtually like we are. This could be in any aspect of your life. I remember when I was 16 years old, I saw my absolute favorite speaker for the first time, Tony Robbins. I remember sitting there in this theater in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and I was just mesmerized by his ability to just captivate, engage, inspire, just transform. People were crying. People's had their lives changed just by the words and the tones that came out of his mouth. And I became obsessed in that moment. And I remember 2 years after that, seeing and actually being introduced to my other favorite speaker, one of my other favorite speakers, Mark Victor Hansen, who is the co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, that giant series of books. And I remember sitting in that audience, 18 years old. I remember thinking, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to transform people's lives just by speaking and by teaching. And it just became an obsession for me ever since then. And since then, I've gotten the opportunity and the privilege to be able to speak all over the world, speaking to people into my own office, speak virtually. And I absolutely love it. And now with our Own Your Voice Academy, we helped you and people just like you, leaders, people who want to have an impact, to be able to create, to find, develop their own unique voice, their own unique style, their own unique story, because your story matters. Who you are matters. You have something to give the world. And so when we get these things wrong, when we get things in the way, when we don't feel confident, when we don't feel sure of ourselves, that comes across. That comes across when we speak one-on-one. That comes across when I'm speaking here on camera. That comes across when I'm speaking one-on-one to clients. That comes across when I'm speaking to a live audience. So this powerful tip I learned years ago, and I even remember the color of the guy's jacket. I remember the tone of his voice when he said this. I remember him speaking in front of a group. We were taking a class on public speaking. And he said, the most powerful strategy in public speaking is the power of the pause. And I'll never forget that. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, think about what potentially you just did. I said the power. You kind of just lean in. So it like brings you to the edge of your seat. You're wondering, what is it going to say? It must be important. The other thing that happens is that because when we try to communicate something, if we're either not sure, if we're not feeling confident, if something kind of just rattled us a little bit, if something is just gnawing at us from within, what we'll tend to do is we'll fill those silences, fill those confusion times with filler words, with non-words, things like which you may have noticed I did earlier in the video. Ums, ahs, so, like, things like that. Not only are there non-words, filler words, but we go into way more detail in lots of this. Minimizer words, things that take away from your credibility, take away from your certainty, take away from your confidence. And so anytime that you want to speak, I'll have you consider that slow your voice down. Slow the tempo. And when you slow the tempo, you tend to be able to have silence and to be able to be okay with silence. See, so many of us, we're so used to just scrolling through our phones whenever we're bored. We don't want to be in our own thoughts. We don't want to be with our own minds. And so we start to fill our thoughts, fill our brains, fill our minds with all of this nonsense. And so when we go to communicate, the exact same thing happens. And that is making you come across as uncertain. It's not getting your leadership across like you want. You have a message, you have a story that needs to be told. Whoever you are, wherever you are, your story matters. Your story needs to be told. And it would be such a tragedy to have the ability, to have the opportunity and blow it because of those things. So consider, the power of the pause. And begin to remove filler words, non-words, minimizer words. It brings people to the edge of their seat and allows you to become more confident, allows you to become more certain. So, if you want to develop more certainty, if you want to develop your own voice, if you want to find out that power message that's inside of you, that you know it's in there, then shoot me a DM and let's see how we can help. So remember, the power of the pause. We'll see you next time.